Games here with my boy
Brad.
Another dude I haven't seen since before the pandemic. And we got today we're playing Gun and Gun, a game that I first saw on CCG Scrubs and haven't seen since. Just delivered about a month ago, Kickstarter. Move this camera a little better.
I wish I had an extra mat, so we could play with the regular mats because those lay a lot flatter. I only have the one with me.
Oh, well, I mean, you could play with the one. I'll just play with the paper one.
Alright, if you're all fold this up a little bit so it lays a little flatter.
Yeah, something tells me this isn't the landscape mode, so. That landscape. Man, I can never tell this. Do you think this is landscape? Yeah, that's landscape, right?
It's hard to tell.
Yeah, I guess it's horizontal, so I guess it's got to be landscape.
Yeah.
Cool.
And have you looked up any of the rules or anything?
Not at all.
So, I'll start us off with the beginner setup. However, from what we've been playing around, like me and my friend, it seems a little lopsided. So I'll give you the easier one to play, and I'll try to figure out the harder setup.
They're pretty good. Man, you played Radlands yet?
No, I haven't. I don't get to play games too often, to be honest.
Radlands would probably be right up your alley. I got that one with me too.
Okay. Yeah, I'm down for whatever. I got no other plans tonight.
Cool.
Let me look up the beginning player setup and get my games out.
While Brad's setting up, I'm trying to get an even better angle at everything. Even though I probably should just leave it be. Let's see.
And you don't do any customized decks with this game. Everything's pre-built.
Okay, perfect.
But basically what you customize is what's called your loadout. So each gunner can have a skill they select that can be activated during the game. And then you have two guns, and each gun has a respective deck that goes with it.
Okay. God dang it. So hard to get a good angle. Down just a sad thing.
Just let me know what you need to do. We've got a second course that's come out in Japan already.
Okay.
And I hope they release it in the US eventually with this publishing company.
Is it Japanime Games?
It is Lion Wing Publishing.
Linely?
Lion Wing.
Line Wing, okay, haven't heard of them.
Yeah.
Okay,
They're
Lion Wing.
based in Cincinnati, and I think it's either one person or a really small group of people handling everything.
Okay.
So they only have like a handful of games that they've done right now.
Like what?
They've done a lot of all their stuff's been through Kickstarter right now. They've got one called like Picturesque Roman or Romaine or something. I think it's like some kind of RPG style game. They've got one called Embryo Machine, which is like a tactical it's like
Yeah, I heard about
yeah.
that one. Yeah.
So, but it's like a mech battle
Mech,
thing. And they've got
Did
this.
you? So did you kickstart that Embryo Machine one?
I wanted to, but then when I saw that it was just like flat little
Yeah,
mech things and not actual.
The standees.
Yeah, I was just like, I'm not really feeling this.
Okay.
They're doing 3D printed models though that you can download and 3D print yourself, but I'd rather just have like nice miniatures and pay a little extra for those.
Okay.
But yeah, it looked cool though. But yeah.
Man, I mean, I know the price point wasn't too bad. It was like only $50 or something, wasn't it?
For this,
For the Embryo Machine.
I'm not sure how much it was. I didn't look into it too much. So that's your gunner skill. And each gunner has 3 skills, but for just like the setup game, these skills are like preset. So this goes underneath your gunner, and then you can activate it later on in the game. Some of them you can only use once, some of them will flip back down, you can use them again, some of them are ongoing and they just have continuous effects. Ron has some errata on her because she was...
Already?
Yeah, she was misprinted.
Okay.
Let me bring...
She currently says, at the end of your turn, you may load up to 1 card from the top of your decks into either gun.
This is what she's supposed to be.
And now, she says, at the end of your turn, you may load up to 1 card into each of your guns from the top of your decks. Not either deck. No. Top of one of your decks. Tops of your decks.
Basically, at the end of your turn, you can take 1 card from top of each of your deck and load them into your guns, or into each gun. Let me just double check it. 1 card into each of your guns from tops of your decks. You may load both cards from the same deck. Okay, so you can take 2 cards from here, or one or the other, and load them into each of your guns. At the end of your turn.
So, we shuffle these, right?
Yes, those get shuffled up, and then
These are basically
so these are
bullets, and what else are in here?
These are there's special bullets, there's mechanisms, there's action cards, and there's reaction cards.
I think I saw like another gun or something in here. Right?
Was there another one in there?
Oh, well, no, it's an action.
Yeah.
This is an action for the bow gun.
Yeah.
Okay. So just at the beginning of my turn, I can top deck either one of them and load them.
So how it works is we've got these player aids with us. So each let me get out the little life counters. That would be easier to have those out.
And this was how much on the Kickstarter?
So I think the regular core set with the expansion maybe was $30, or it might have been just the core set was $30. And then I know like for the collector stuff for everything it was like 90. So I got like the fancy one. We each start off with 30 life points.
Man, I got some D30 spin downs if you want to use
We
those.
can do those.
I love D30 spin downs.
But the game overall is pretty simple. There's some weird interactions every once in a while that pop up, and they don't have the comprehensive rules published yet, but they're going to be getting those eventually. And these are spin downs.
Yep, like you kind of got to keep them on the phone. They're so flimsy, but I mean, we can try it.
Yeah.
Because I've never actually tried it with that. Well, I've used them once, but they seem pretty flimsy.
Yeah.
If you
I
think
they'll
we
be
need to
fine.
use the phone, then we'll try it.
I think it should be fun.
Cool.
Alright, so let me go over the gunners and all of the stuff on them.
You know what? I'll go ahead and use the phone.
Okay. So you've got your hand size, and they'll vary, but R2 just have 3. So at the end of your turn, you will draw back up to that hand size. And you also underneath that have agility. The agility determines who will go first. So whoever has the highest agility number is faster, so that gunner will go first. If there's a tie in agility, you have weights on top of your guns, so you look at the combined weight, and I think that whoever has the lowest gun weight gets to go first, because they're faster, basically.
Makes sense.
And then all the gunners have a special effect. So yours is at the end of your turn, you can, and that one, like we said, is misprinted, but you can load up 2 cards from the top of your decks into each of your guns. And then mine, Hibana, once per turn, I place up to 2 cards from the top of one of my decks, or my discard pile into my voltage, which is going to be over here.
It's like the gauge.
Yeah, so you can load up your guns, and then after you fire a gun at your opponent, your spent bullets go into your voltage. And your gunner skill has a volt cost. So once you reach that volt cost, you can use your gunner skill.
And then that's just secret to your opponent.
Yep.
But like if you've played the game a million times, you know which one that the opponent has.
Well, each gunner has 3 skills that they can choose from. So it's going to be one of those 3, but that's all you know. So, the goal of the game is to get your opponent's life to 0, but also if you run out of cards in both decks, you lose the game. So there can be a little bit of a mill strategy in here as well with some stuff.
You lose if you get milled.
Yeah, but also you lose mainly when your life total goes down to 0.
Cool.
So during your main phase, you can carry out any of the following actions in any order if possible. You can play cards, you can load bullets, you can fire weapons, or you can activate your gunner skill. So when you're looking at your guns, they have a load value that shows you how many bullets you can load per turn. The little notches on the side right here, underneath the weight, shows how many bullets maximum can go into that gun. And then these values underneath the name shows how much damage you hit depending on how many bullets are loaded into your gun when you fire it.
That's so creative.
Whenever you fire your gun, you use up all bullets in there. You don't say, okay, I'm going to just use up 3 and then just do that. Like, you fire all of them. So like with mine, if I fire it, it's got 4 bullets in it, it's 7 damage. If it's got 5 bullets, it's 10 damage, and if it's got 6 bullets, it's 14 damage.
Wow.
And you can load bullets into either gun, and then some bullets are special, so you load those face up, and then whenever you fire your gun, they give you a special effect. And whenever you draw from one deck or the other unless something specifies otherwise. So let's see. And I have the higher agility, so I will be playing first. And you can attack your first turn, do whatever you want, because the agility values and the other stuff kind of balances everything out. So it's not like some other games where it's like, oh, you can't attack your first turn, or oh, you draw an extra card, or your opponent draws an extra card, or whatever. That's not in this game. Okay, let's just finish the setup. Alright, well both, so your hand size is 3, so you get 3 cards, so you can go ahead and draw up.
From either deck?
Yeah, from either deck, just one deck.
Oh, okay.
I'll just go ahead and draw up from this one. And then you have your discard pile over there, and both of them go into the discard pile.
Now, is this deck suited for this gun?
It can be, but you can load up in either gun.
Okay.
And other stuff like that. And yes, and also your guns have special effects too that can be used. Like this one doesn't have a special effect. This one says, at the end of my turn, if my life is lower than my opponent's, I load 1 card into this gun from the top of one of my decks.
Nice.
And then that one I think gains you life.
When you deal hits from firing, Hakumen gain that much life. If the hits are negated by your opponent, you don't gain life, so life link or whatever.
Yep.
And when you deal hits from firing Uwan, choose one of your opponent's decks and discard that many cards from the top. If the hits are negated by your opponent doesn't discard any cards. Perfect.
Alright, so go ahead and draw your hand up to 3. Alright, so during your main phase, so you have like a beginning phase, and nothing happens unless something says at the beginning of your turn, do this. Then you have your main phase, and then you have your down phase. During your main phase, you can play cards, load bullets, fire weapons, or activate your skill. And you've got 4 main types of cards in your deck. You've got special bullets, actions, mechanisms, and reactions. So with special bullets, you just load them up in your gun with this side over it, and that lets you know that it's a special bullet loaded into the gun, and then when it's fired, it'll have a special effect. Or in this case, it's just worth 2 bullets. And then whenever you're playing a card from your hand, like say it's a regular action, it may have a cost associated with it. In order to pay that cost, you discard cards from your hand to pay that cost. So for example, this costs 2, I'd have to discard both of these in order to use this effect. Action cards, you resolve the effect and it goes right into your discard pile. Mechanisms, you pay whatever cost is associated with it and it goes into the field area. It's kind of like having like some kind of item or artifact or something that stays in play and has a continuous effect. Now your reaction cards are kind of like trap cards in Yu-Gi-Oh! You would place them face down, and then they might have a cost associated with them, but you don't pay that cost until you activate them. So if your opponent fires at you, you can use a reaction in response, pay for it, and then you get the effect applied, and it might negate the attack or give you some other effect or something like that. So what I will do is I'm going to go ahead and play Supercharge. In order to play it, I have to discard 2 cards. So I'm going to discard 2 from my hand. It says I can draw 5 cards from the top of one of my decks. I'm going to draw from my Enra deck for 5. And that just goes to my discard pile. So I will load up a double bullet into Niue, and then that'll count as 2 of those notches. And then I will load up a stealth bolt into Enra, and whenever I fire a gun loaded with a stealth bolt, my opponent may not activate reaction cards.
Gun and gun.
Gun and gun.
What is this?
Just got delivered from Kickstarter like a month ago.
No shit.
Yeah.
It's a Japanese 2-player card game.
Oh, cool.
And
It looks like crap. What's that game called? Nier Automata.
Oh yeah. It does.
Yeah, it looks like Nier to me.
Straight up does.
Yeah. Anyway, so it's a Japanese.
yep. And then the publisher called Line Wing Publishing localized it for like North American English
Oh, cool.
audiences.
Very cool. How do y'all like it so far? I guess you're real early into it.
Yeah,
I mean, he's
I've played
played
it a
it.
few times. I like it a lot.
Yeah?
I'm still trying to figure out like the different combinations and stuff, and like what works with what.
Okay.
And figuring out how to play things correctly.
Do you have two separate, like you have two decks that you're pulling from, or do you?
Yep. So each gun has its own deck that's associated with it. So there's no custom deck building.
Oh,
it's
cool.
more like the only customization you have is choosing your gunner. They have one of 3 skills they can have that you play whenever, and you have 2 guns you can choose in their respective decks.
Oh, cool. I like that better. So you're not gaming it like you're. It's not
Yeah.
like you're. So it's more asymmetric than it is.
Yeah.
Whose deck is better?
Yeah, and like I've got pretty much all the cards that have been printed in English so far. I have.
Cool.
So like I've got basically like in this box I've got everything for the deck, so anybody can play whatever they want.
Cool, man.
So,
Cool. Me and Marcus are friends, but I'm Jet.
Okay, I'm Brad. Nice to meet you.
Brad, good to meet you, man.
Brad's got a bunch of key forwards too, but he's
Oh, no
selling
shit?
it. He
Well,
just- they always-
yeah, I'm selling
You don't
my
want
key
to.
for
You don't want to come play on Thursdays, man.
I've just lost interest in it. Like I've gotten into Flesh and Blood, and I'm into
I've heard
that
Flesh
way
and I've heard
more.
Flesh and Blood is good.
So I'm just like, you know what? I need to let loose something else.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah. Man, is Flesh and Blood like Keyforge, where you buy a deck and it's
Oh, no.
pre-gen?
It's more probably like Magic, where you go after certain cards, but the gameplay is, I'd say, a bit deeper than Magic is.
Okay.
So, and it's a lot more back and forth, and things seem to be a lot more even throughout the whole game. So,
Very cool.
you don't have like these huge blowouts like I won on turn 1 or whatever.
That's what I hate about Magic, man. I can't play Magic because
What's that?
Just somebody making some crazy ass combo that makes them win on turn 1,
Oh,
or like just feeling totally shut out of the game because somebody spent $1,000 on
Also,
a deck.
all your
you know?
cards produce resources.
Oh, cool.
So you never mulligan in the game because you should always be able to do something with your cards.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Oh, that's nice.
And there are really expensive cards in the game. Like you have a hero and you have equipment with that hero, and then you have a deck of like attacks and actions you can take.
Okay.
And typically, your more expensive cards are going to be your equipment cards, and they might be like $100 to $200 a piece. But you only need one, and they can usually be used for multiple heroes.
Oh, okay.
So.
Okay.
And Brad, Jet, Brad.
Yeah. No, you're good. Cool. Well, y'all have fun. I'm about to go pick up dinner for the wife. So
Hey, so you got 3 rounds in? Or?
3 rounds. So we didn't quite finish it. We were two rounds left, but he conceded.
Okay.
Yeah, it was a fun game though. It was good, but yeah, didn't finish it out. Like I said, we never do. It's always probably 2 or 3 rounds. That's usually what we go to.
Okay, so I guess you had a bunch of points on him or something.
Yeah, he had like he had 12 points and I had 16, and then the board state was such that I had like 3 of my really powerful heroes out still, and I had killed most of his units. So he could have eked out probably 2 or 3 points a game or a round, but I would have been getting 6 points a round. So
Okay.
it was basically over.
Okay.
Yeah. We could have played it all the way out to 5, but it was done. So
Makes sense,
yeah,
makes sense.
yeah.
All
Cool,
right.
y'all.
Enjoy that dinner.
Yep. Peace, boys.
Later.
Good meet you, Brad.
Good to meet you too. Alright, so I'm going to play Recycle, cost 0. I can choose 1 card from my discard pile. I return it to the top of its respective deck and then shuffle. Or if it's a special bullet, I add it to my hand. I'm going to add double bullet to my hand. And then I'm going to play another Recycle. And I'm going to add Supercharger back into the end deck. And I'll shuffle that up. And then I've already loaded up my guns. Oh, I cannot load up 2 guns in this one, so I'll go ahead and load up a double bullet on here. That'll give me 3 bullets max, or give me all the bullets I need. I'll go ahead and fire at you.
Okay, so that's
It's going to be 5
Three-
hits.
three bullets
3
back,
bullets,
okay.
5 hits. Those get added to my voltage, and then you take 5. And remember, you cannot activate reactions from your hand; they have to be face down.
okay. Cool. Going to 25 life.
Yep. And then I can't do anything else. So for the down phase, I draw new cards. I draw until I reach the gunner's hand's value. So I'll go ahead and just draw from the inner deck again. I resolve any end of turn effects, and then it just passes over to you.
Cool. All right. So do I draw at turn start or no?
No, you always draw at the end of your turn.
Okay.
Up
Draw.
to your gunner's hand size, which is 3.
3. Cool.
And so you can play cards, fire weapons, load bullets, or activate your gunner skill if you have enough footage.
So usually always best to just dump your whole hand every turn.
It depends. Like, I'm still trying to get used to how things
Okay.
run in this game, but you can do a lot in a turn. Like, you saw what I did. I was playing a lot of things,
Oh
so...
yeah. Okay.
Also, were these 30-sided dice? Were those up there at all, or did you get those from somewhere else?
Man, I did a whole video on these spin down D30s versus D20s, and
Yeah.
I got mine on Amazon. Had them for the low.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
But yeah, like on eBay, there's only one person who has them, and they're from like Europe, so the shipping is way too high. But,
Gotcha.
yeah, but they don't spin down all the way. So like once it goes to 17, then you got 16, which isn't adjacent to the 17, and then 15 isn't adjacent to 16, and then 14 isn't adjacent to 15. But then from there, then you got a true spin down.
Oh,
So I
that's
colored in the
interesting.
ones that are not adjacent.
Okay. That's interesting.
But,
Alright.
but it's great for Brawl. You ever play Brawl?
No. I have a little bit on Arena. I think I might have tried to in real life, but just couldn't find anybody into it.
Oh, what about Oathbreaker?
I've heard of Oathbreaker. It sounds interesting. I just don't know of anybody who's interested in it.
Yeah, I got a couple Oathbreaker decks, but people stop playing them.
Yeah. Like, I'm tired of building decks and then nobody playing stuff.
Oh yeah, Tiny Leaders. Did you make a Tiny Leaders deck?
I made a few. Never played them with anybody.
Man, I mean, you still have them constructed?
No, I took them apart.
Okay, dang it.
But I have a box full of pauper decks. It's pretty fun. I need to update them though, because I think some stuff's been banned since then. And I need to upgrade some for like the meta and everything.
Like you ever play Force of Will?
I have not. No.
I
But it's
got
kinda-
this, I got this great fan made. Well, I mean not fan made, but like I got this kind of like fan made game that's based on Force of Will. It's
Yeah.
great. I love to play that sometimes.
Cool. Yeah, if any questions, just let me know. But also take your time too. No rush.
Okay, I see what you mean about saving some cards.
Yeah. And you've got a lot of cards too that cost 0.
Oh yeah.
And like Hakumen, I've noticed the Hakumen deck has a lot of mechanisms in it, and so you can put a lot of stuff into play, and just kind of like build up effects. I think Uwon is more of kind of like a control / like mill kind of strategy with some of the cards.
Okay, so I got a special bullet antimatter shot. When firing a gun loaded with antimatter shot, choose one of your opponent's decks and discard one card from the top of that deck.
Yep.
And neither of these, how do I know if a gun interacts with the bullet?
So like if the effect, whenever you fire the gun, the effect applies. And then the effect on the gun, if it's got something that activates when it fires, that also applies.
I guess I'll double up on the mill.
Okay.
And then actions are just played just anywhere. They just go to the discard. Okay, so your opponent discards 2 cards from the top of their hand and draws 1 card from the top of their decks.
Okay, so your opponent discards 1 card from the top of one of their decks. Alright, I'll discard these 2, and go ahead and draw a card. And then also you can load your, I don't know if I mentioned this, you can load your cards face down as regular bullets. You just load them like this, and it'd just be 1 bullet with no effect if you wanted to do that.
Cool. Yeah. With this, I will. So at the end of the turn, you shoot, right?
You can shoot any point during your main phase. You can do your actions in any order that you want. So you can play cards for main, you can shoot a gun, play some more cards, shoot another gun, whatever you want to do.
Okay. And you drew cards during your turn, right? Because you had actions that let you do so?
Yes, and at the end of my turn, I drew up to 3.
Okay. Alright, with that, I will shoot. So I can shoot. There's a shooting action.
Yep. You just say I'm
Oh,
firing
okay.
this gun.
Fire what?
So if you've got 1 bullet, and so it'll deal 1 damage, and then your gun's effect.
Okay, so when you deal hits from firing O1, choose one of your opponent's decks and discard that many cards from the top. If hits are negated by your opponent, you don't discard. So I guess I'll discard from there.
Alright. And then with that
one hit.
antimatter shot, it makes
When firing, choose one of your opponent's decks and discard
Yep.
one. So discard 2 and then 1 damage.
alright, and then do you want to discard from the same deck?
Same deck, yeah.
Okay. And then I take 1, so I go down to 29. Alright.
And then this bullet gets discarded, right?
That goes into your voltage.
Voltage,
over here.
yeah, the gauge,
And
yeah.
it'll just go face down and I think vertically, so just like that.
Okay, is there like counterblast from some of these cards, you know?
So, I'm not, what do you mean?
Like in Vanguard, they got this thing called counterblast where like you can flip your cards and your gauge over and stuff.
Oh, they don't have anything like that. Basically,
Probably in set 2.
these are used to pay for your voltage cost for your gunner skill.
Okay.
And then once that's paid, you just discard them.
Okay. Oh yeah. Okay. So this is secret. I can look at it any
Yeah.
time. But then, okay.
Yeah, it's in information for me, but you know it. And then, yeah, pay attention to the voltage cost because whenever you hit that voltage, you can pay and activate your gunner skill.
Sweet. Oh yeah. It seems like a hell of a game so far.
All right, so end of your turn, you draw back up to 3 from one of your decks.
Key fours.
Yep, and then it's my go. So I will do a double bullet into new A.
So you've been playing with your partner or just
I've got a
TTS people?
friend. I've played a couple games with him, and that's it because he's really busy. He does like streaming and stuff.
Okay.
So I haven't been able to do a whole lot with him. But he also went into the Kickstarter and got it too. So
Cool.
I'll go ahead and load up a bullet into Enra, and then I will just. I've got basically 4 bullets loaded into here right now because of their double bullets. But I'm not going to fire this turn. I'll go ahead and straw up, and I will pass it back to you.
So I mean, you didn't shoot though?
I didn't shoot because I want to build up and be able to do a bigger
Oh
hit.
yeah.
And I can only load 1.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah, because
I'm
like.
trying to mill anyway, so I
Yeah,
don't
because
really care.
like, see, this one's like 1 bullet deals 1 damage, 2 deals 2, 3 deals 4.
Okay. But it's more of a mill gun anyway, so.
Yeah. This one, if I can get all 6 bullets off, it's 14 damage.
Crazy as hell.
So.
Alright. Man, and I like everything is a trap card reactions instead of from hand.
Yeah.
So you can know what's going on. Alright, so I'm gonna play Destruction Beam, or as Dragon Ball Z calls it, Destructo Disc, or whatever. But it's a 2-drop, and it says discard up to 2 of your opponent's cards from their loaded bullets. You may choose from both guns. Active mechanisms would cost 1 or less, or face down reaction cards. You may choose 2 different types of cards. So I'm gonna.
Oh, dang.
Gun and Guns just delivered like a month ago from Kickstarter. Badass game.
It's called Gun?
Yeah.
Gun and Gun. So pitching 2.
Alright,
to
and then what
play
do you
Destruction
wanna-
Beam. I guess those are the 2 only
Yep.
options I got.
So, okay. Well,
So was that worth it? Yeah, I
that
mean
set-
to start from taking
that sets
14
me
damage.
back a few turns, so.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Alright,
Alright,
so
I
yep, I
see how
used
it
it.
is.
That was it. Yep, and with that, I don't have any more cards in hand, so I guess I'll pass turn.
Yep. So I keep forgetting about her effect.
Oh yeah.
So go ahead and draw up to 3 from one of your decks, and then you'll use her effect, and then go ahead and load up your guns.
Oh yeah. Okay, so at the end of my turn, I may load up to 1 card from the top of one of your decks into either gun.
But remember,
Okay.
that's
Both of them.
incorrect. So 2 from one or 1 from the other, and then each of the gun can be loaded up 1 bullet, basically, from either whatever decks you want.
But you gotta pay the cost.
No, you just load them up.
Oh,
They're
just,
face down.
Oh, okay, face.
Yep.
Okay.
Whenever it's
so you
loading
can
up-
choose to do
yeah.
it or not.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, cool. And it's like if you get milled in both, that's when you lose, not when you
Yeah.
get milled in.
But you're also like, if you notice her 2 guns, they only load up to 1 bullet a turn, but her effect kind of bypasses that. So basically, she allows you to do 2 bullets per gun per turn, and they're more powerful guns or do more powerful effects. So you can start firing those off more often than I can fire mine off, especially if you make me continuously discard stuff from my guns.
Did you do your power last turn?
Her effect.
Yeah.
Oh, I keep forgetting about her effect. Once per turn, I place up to 2 cards from the top of one of my decks or my discard pile into my voltage. So, yeah, and that's not at the end of my turn, so I can do that during my regular turn. So,
Okay. So I miss 1, I guess you miss 1, it's cool.
yeah, yeah. So, and it's a May thing, so, yeah, just trying to remember how to do everything. Alright, so, yeah, once per turn, place up 2 cards from the top of one of your decks or discard pile into my voltage. I'll go ahead and just do that then with this.
They give you a printout with the errata card.
They have not yet because, like, since it just released, people are just catching that and they're like, "Oh, this is a mistake." So maybe in a future release they might have like an updated card they send out with it. But
Force of Will just lets you cut out a little strip of paper. You can just cut.
Yeah.
You can just cover over.
you
the
could
top.
probably do that with this one too. Just all right, and then let's see what we can do here. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and do a reaction card face down. I will load a bullet over here, load a bullet over here, and then I will draw up and pass it back to you.
So you only pay the cost of the trap card when it's flipped over?
Yep, whenever you actually use it. So it'll just stay in play until you decide to use it for something. And I think they're typically only used when you're firing a gun at someone.
Okay.
That's for 5, this one's for 3.
Actually, I'm not saying with this. I want to say with this. I'm going to take read that, but
Okay, block.
okay, you're gonna lose 2 life.
Right. Okay, what reason do I have to not play these? Key cards in hand to make me negate? No.
Yeah, because you can load up your guns. You can use it like. I've noticed too. There's a lot of draw effects, so it may be better to maybe if you've got some draw effects, draw up, get more options, more cards to load up and do more things.
Okay. All right, I'm gonna play these 2 0-drop, 0-cost drain shells, which when firing a gun loaded with the drain shell, gain 1 life. So I'll put 2 drain shells here,
Okay.
which means I have 2 bullets in both guns.
Yep.
This one does 2 hits. Both of them do 2 hits. And,
Well, yeah. Yep.
So I'll go ahead and shoot
All right.
2 bullets for 2 damage here. And when you deal hits from firing Hakumen, gain that much life. If the hits are negated by your opponent, don't gain any life.
I'm gonna activate evasion, reduce the hits dealt by my opponent's shot or skill by 3. So I'm gonna reduce it by 3. It's gonna do nothing,
Nice.
and it costs 0, so I don't have to pay anything for that. And that
it
goes
still
into
goes
your
to the
voltage. Yep.
Okay. Still goes to the voltage. Okay, shot. And then I'm gonna go ahead and shoot, not swing, with pretty much the same thing. And then so it'll be a drain shell. I'll gain 1 life.
Yep.
for drain shell.
I'll be at 27.
Going to 26, and then doing 2 points of damage for 2 bullets, and then I'll have you mill. Discard that many. When you deal hits from firing Uwan, choose one of your opponent's decks and discard that many cards from the top. So yeah, 2 cards from that deck.
Okay.
I think I just like missed
And these will go to the
for a long time.
voltage.
All right.
And at the end of my turn, I may load up to 1 card from the top of both decks. Oh, first draw.
Yep.
From
Yeah, you
either
draw
or.
first, and then from it's got to be 1 deck.
Okay. Draw 3, and then load with the player power, and pass my turn.
Okay. So I'm going to do double bullets into New A. So I've got 3 loaded in there so far. I'm going to do a paralysis bullets into Enra, and it's got the maximum number of bullets in it right now. And whenever I fire a gun loaded with a paralysis bullet, my opponent may not activate action cards during their next turn.
When you load it,
Whenever
when
I fire
firing.
it, yeah.
now
And
are
that's a-
reactions actions?
No.
Okay.
And it says during your next turn.
Okay, next turn.
Yeah. So, and then here's an example too of, so I was able to, I can load up to 2 bullets per turn with Enra. I've loaded up 1 bullet. I'm going to go ahead and fire that at you. So that's 5 hits. And then, you can't use actions during your next turn. So, that's 5 hits coming at you.
That's what I am. I'm there when you want me to be there.
Okay. And then I'm gonna pop off my
Because that's how
does Rand have a lot of card draw at all? Or
With this loadout, I don't believe she does, unless I think Uwan might have some stuff that that lets you draw cards and everything. But I think a lot of it's like your opponent discards stuff and then you get to draw stuff or something like that.
I'm just gonna go ahead and pitch this 3 cost to activate this reaction. You've activated my reaction.
Alright.
So if your opponent's shot or skill will deal 3 or more damage, hits, gain 5 life.
Alright, so you basically just stay the same because it's dealing 5 hits, so it just kind of cancels that out.
Perfect.
Alright, so what I was going back, what I was saying before is like you can do things in different orders. Like, so I fired my gun, I can still load 1 more bullet, so I'm going to go ahead and put a double bullet up into Enra.
But with that
And then,
conversation,
let's see.
once again bringing it back to I am and I need to be there for my shit. So that this relationship is the conclusion we always have.
Alright, I'm going to activate her gunner skills. Charge down, it requires 5 voltage. So 5 cards going to my discard pile.
That's what I'm saying.
I deal 3 hits to my opponent, and then I flip this card face down, but I can only activate this once per turn. And then it's got an ability called Burst. Burst means when you're under 15 or less life, it has an additional thing. This will deal 5 hits instead of 3 if I'm under 15 life.
Burst is always 15.
Yeah,
Okay.
15 or less.
Yeah, so I'll take 3.
And then that flips back face down, so that means I can use it again later on. But like it said, only once per turn. And then I've got nothing else I can do.
23 life.
I will go ahead and draw from this deck. And yeah, pass it back to you.
Play a reloader, sack a 0 drop. So it's a mechanism. that says at the end of your turn, load up to one card from the top of one of your decks into either gun. So getting a lot of freeloading. I'm a freeloader. All right. Got no cards in hand. Not much I can do except for shoot off these bullets.
Yeah, well, you can't fire off of this one.
Yeah, because that's
you
two
need to-
minimum.
Yep.
Okay, but I can shoot this one for one hit and 1 mil from that one.
Yep.
So I'll shoot that one, put that towards the voltage. And then at the end of my turn, I'll do this one first. Load up to one card from the top of one of your decks into either gun. Go there. And then for the player power, at the end of the turn, I can load up one from each into both, which I will do. You have to do the draw.
You draw first, and then you do end of turn effects.
I draw up first.
Yep, and it's got your little player aid right there that reminds you of that.
Going here, and here. And I'll pass turn.
Okay. All right. Let's see. Okay, I'm also going to play Mechanism and discard a card. Portable Capacitor. At the end of my turn, I load up to one card from the top of one of my decks into either gun. So it's pretty much the same thing as what you just played. I will load this up with Armor Piercing Shell. When firing a gun loaded with this, if there are 4 or more bullets loaded in the gun, it deals 2 more hits. I'm going to use her ability, stack up 2 extra cards into my voltage. And then, so I've got double bolt, 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright, I'm gonna go ahead and fire a new way. So this is just a double bolt. When I'm firing with this gun, if there are 4 more bullets loaded in the gun, it deals 2 additional hits. So at 4 it's 7, so that's gonna be 9 total coming at you.
9 total coming at me.
And you don't have any reaction
Yeah,
set
nothing
up,
I can do
so-
about it. So going down to 14.
And then I will activate my gunner skill, pay 5 voltage, and deal 3 damage to you.
Crazy. Down to 11.
Yeah, once things start building up, you can start popping off real quick.
I see it.
And then, so let's see, I draw up. And then at the end of my turn, I load up to 1 card from the top of one of my decks into either gun. I'll go ahead and load up New A, and I pass.
Okay. All right. All right. Doing a crazy move. Hyper beam, 2 cost. So first I'll pitch 2 action, and then I cannot even do that. Never mind. Can't even do that. Yep, can't even do that. So what do I do?
If you haven't loaded this turn, you can put 1 in that gun and you can deal 4 to me with that one. You can also load up a 3rd one and deal 3 damage to me with that one.
Talking about doing something good, not something crappy though. Alright.
Sorry.
just play Overload Orb. 0 cost at the start of your turn. Choose one of your opponent's decks and discard the top card of that deck.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'll shoot 2 with this one.
All right, and that's just 2 hits, and you gain 2 life.
2 hits, gain 2.
All right, I'm at 24.
13. Then shoot with Uwan. Guess I'll go that stack.
Okay.
Deal hits, which is 2.
Yep.
And then I will, if the hits are negated, whatever.
Yep, and I have no reaction, so I can't do anything about that. I'll go down to 22.
I think I like these voltages this way. I don't think it matters.
It doesn't really know, as long as it's clear what's going on.
Yeah. Yeah, you can kind of count them better that way.
And you might have enough to activate your gunner skill.
Not quite.
Oh, okay.
Alright, and they kind of a sitting duck almost, but you don't have that many bullets out there yet.
Not yet.
Not yet. Alright,
And you
so
gained your
draw.
life from Hawkman, right? When you fired 2. Did you gain life from that?
Yep, gain 2
Okay.
life. Yep. Then I'll play this guy. I mean, yeah, I can't. I might as well
Yeah.
paste this. Yeah. Right there. Draw up. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. End the turn, load up to 1. And then end the turn, load 2.
Yep.
Load 1 there. And then load 2. Yeah, just keep it even.
Okay. All right. Okay. I'm gonna do shell generation. I can load a 1 card of my choosing from my discard pile into either gun. If it's a special bolt, it can be loaded face up. So we're gonna do a double bullet into New Wave, and then I'm gonna do discard. I'm gonna do high speed recharge. I load 1 card from the top of one of my decks into either gun. Then I draw 1 card from the top of one of my decks. So I'll do that. We'll go ahead and do my 1 load for the turn. And then I'll play shell generation again. Load 1 card from choosing from my discard pile into either gun.
Oh my gosh.
Let's see where this is going. We'll do another double bullet into New A. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Whoops. I went over a little bit. We'll just do that face down so I don't go over because I can't go over. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Fully loaded up and ready to go. I'll activate her effect so that I'll go ahead and load up 2 into my voltage. I'll fire Enra at you, and that'll be 3 hits because it counts as 2 bullets.
One turn too late. Are there some cards that are actions and reactions?
That are both?
Yeah, like dual purpose cards.
No, none that I've seen so far.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's probably a game if you got a 14 shotter. But our reaction, flash, spend 1 to use that. Then reduce the hits dealt by your opponent's shot or skill by 2.
Alright, so you'll take 1 hit.
Take 1, going down to 12.
Okay.
And then choose 1 action card from your discard pile and add it to your hand.
Okay. You said action card?
Yeah, action. I wish it was reaction.
Yeah. Well, you wouldn't be able to place it face down.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah, this one.
Okay. And then I'm gonna activate my gunner skill. It's gonna be 3 damage coming at you. And then I'll flip face down.
Down to 9.
Yep. And then I'll fire New Way, and it's gonna be 6 bolts, so 14 damage.
Yep, I got no reactions face down. It's a game.
Alright.
GG. Yeah, if I'd have got that, it's so tight. Like I had to do her power from the first turn of the game in order to get up to that 12 gauge, well 12 voltage. And then I would have just dealt 6 to your opponent, then gained 6 life. I needed that, like.
Yeah. Yeah, because you can get crazy because it's like you get into like the swing of just like constantly like loading things and just firing off, especially with Hakumen just like constantly gaining so much life. And then once you can start like activating your skill, if it's the one I'm thinking of, it's like you just continuously gain life. So do you want to play this again but with different gunners, or do you want to do something different?
And what you thinking?
I wouldn't mind doing like the regular version of the game. We each choose a gunner, we each choose our guns.
Yeah, let's do that.
Alright, so let's grab this. I'm going to take a quick bathroom break.
I'm gonna do the same.
Alright. You can go first if you want while I'm getting things set up, and then I'll go ahead and run in there.
Cool. I'll be quick. Yeah, I don't know how you put them all together. How do you put them all together?
Oh, what, the cards?
Yeah.
I just separate them by, one cool thing is like what they did was they only have one thing of art on the cards, and it's just the gun itself. So you can just go through and just, separate them really easily.
How do you know who's who though?
Because it just has a picture on there of the actual gun. So.
Oh yeah, it is cool.
One thing though I wish they would have done was I think it would have been really cool to have the picture on there, but like say if it's a mechanism, it has like a certain part of the gun highlighted. If it was like a bullet, it has like the part where you loaded highlighted or something like that, and just have like the different things like that. That way you've got like another visual cue instead of just the color of like what kind of card it is. Especially if someone's like colorblind or something, it can be kind of weird.
Cause it's in the 2 videos for your games later.